Our reading this morning is from Śrī Kṛṣṇa book, compilation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada from the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are still at the chapter of prayers by the personified Vedas. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 When the Vedas themselves are speaking, in the Vedic culture and the Krishna consciousness, it is all a personal matter. One would think that the Vedas book, literature, yes, no doubt. But since it is of an absolute nature, the words that have been compiled to give us this literature are non-different from each other. And they have been spoken by the Supreme Lord. Now the Lord's words, transcendental vibration. Therefore, the words also have a form. A literary, they have a form. Because the Vedas were spoken by Vasudeva. And Vasudeva is the expansion of Lord Balaram. Krishna expands as Balaram, and Lord Balaram expands further as Shankarshan, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. So the Vedas have been actually revealed to us by Vasudeva, because Lord Vasudeva is the administrator of Krishna's internal energy known as Chit Shakti or Samvit Shakti. Therefore, his words have taken the iconic form of Akshara. And Akshara means that which is inexhaustible, indestructible. That is the meaning of the word Akshara. So for these representations of form of sound vibration, their personalities. So therefore, for those who have a profound understanding of the nature of transcendence, will understand that the Vedas are personifications. And it is because that they are personifications, when they in the form of sound, vibration, enter the ears of the hearer, of the audience, they find their place in the sincere devotee's heart. and a mysterious and transcendental transformation takes place. Sound vibration is transformed into persons who then enlighten us. Realization. So this is the one aspect, one perspective to understand what is the meaning of personified Vedas. We understand, now the Vedas are speaking, we understand that with the breathing of Supreme Personality of Godhead, there issued forth the four Vedas, namely the Ṛg-veda, the Sāma-veda, Yajur-veda, and the Atharva-veda. And the histories, like the Mahābhārata and all the Purāṇas, which are also considered to be the history of the world. The Vedic histories, like the Purāṇas and Mahābhārata, are called the fifth Veda. So these Vedas have a name, and the Vedas have issued forth the personality of God is breathing. So we can understand that the Lord has the potency to generate, produce living entities, personalities, simply by breathing. And each has a name, and each of the Vedas also deal with particular subject matters. And there are the Purāṇas. Purāṇas means ancient description, Purāṇa. Histories. Mahābhārata is history. It is known as itihās. Mahābhārata is itihās. Itihās means, the word itihās means, and so it happened. And so it happened. Itihās. And Purāṇa means ancient descriptions. So these are not any speculations. When people say mythology, they have absolutely no understanding between the difference of the absolute truth and speculation and fantasy. And it is also the Lord's desire that the truth and wisdom contained in the Vedas remains confidential. That is his desire also. It should not fall into the wrong hands and be misused. The Vedas are meant primarily for the conditioned souls to understand the functioning of this material world and therefore how to exist within this material phenomena by understanding its functioning, and that also revelation of that region, that dimension from where the Vedas have appeared, so that the condition of soul becomes completely aware of these two worlds, and they are world apart, so that through proper discrimination that we receive through the knowledge from the Guru, we are able to distinguish these two worlds which are world apart. The verses of the Veda-stuti are to be considered the essence of all Vedic knowledge. Veda-stuti means the prayers of the Veda personified. The four Kumaras and all other authorized sages know perfectly that devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the essence of all Vedic literatures. And they are preaching this in different planets, traveling in outer space. It is stated herein that such sages, including Narada Muni, hardly ever travel on land. They are perpetually traveling in space. So the Lord, in order to authenticate this statement, has created birds. But birds require wings, sages don't require wings. They travel at the speed of mind. And they take this message of the Vedas to the farthest corners of the Lord's creation, so that the conditioned souls, by their initial mistake of choice, coming into this material world, can rectify it. And it is only by the revelation of the Vedas is that possible. There's no other literature who can actually step by step guide the conditioned souls who are imprisoned by Maya and illusion to come to the eternal abode of the Lord, where He's waiting for the living entities who are His sons and daughters. Sages like Narada and the Kumaras both are Manasuputra of Lord Brahma, the first created personality. Manasuputra. Brahma did not require to have union with a female counterpart to having a child. And so Kumaras, the four brothers, they're actually twins, quadrupeds. And Narada and other sages, they are traveling throughout the universe in order to educate the conditioned souls and show them that their business in the world is not that of sense gratification, but of reinstating themselves again in their original position of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is stated in several places that the living entities are like sparks of the fire, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is like the fire itself. Somehow or other, when the sparks fall out of the fire, they lose their natural illumination. Thus it is ascertained that the living entities come into the material world exactly as sparks fall from a great fire. The reason for this fall, as stated by the Goswamis, is sense gratification. The living entity wants to imitate Kṛṣṇa and tries to lord it over material nature. Thus, he forgets his original position and his illuminating power, his spiritual identity, is extinguished. However, if a living entity takes to Kṛṣṇa consciousness, he is reinstated in his original position. Sages and saints like Narada and the Kumaras are traveling all over the universe, educating people and encouraging their disciples to preach this process of devotional service so that all the conditioned souls may be able to revive the original Kṛṣṇa consciousness or original consciousness or Kṛṣṇa consciousness, and thus gain relief from the miserable conditions of material life. So this fall is natural exercising of the living entity's innate nature. It is due to that innate nature which always seeks bhog, enjoyment. Living entity being generated by the Supreme Lord from his transcendental form body has many of the Lord's qualities, attributes, though in limited degree, in comparison to the Lord who has all these in unlimited degree. However, bhoga, also seva, also sambandha, and ananda. Bhoga means enjoying spirit. Saying the Lord, he is Purusha. Purusha means a supreme enjoyer. That's the meaning of the word Purusha. So jivas are also small little Purushas. The Supreme Lord is the embodiment of seva. And in order to actually act in that mood of seva, he expands himself as Balaram. And Balaram is serving the Supreme Lord in all different ways. So much so that he feels that he has to also expand into eternal associates who embody different types of relationship, different types of rasa. Not just expanding. Lord Balaram doesn't only expand himself as objects, transcendental objects, like Krishna's slippers, Krishna's throne, Krishna's bed, Krishna's Brahmin thread, Krishna's crown, all of these. And this goes further, so that he expands, Lord Balaram expands as the entire spiritual abode of Vrindavan, with all the trees and dust particles and all the little hillocks and streams. These are all Lord Balaram's expansion. Similarly, he is the expansion of all the eternal associates, Raktak Praktak, servants, Shubal, Sridham, Sudam, friends, Yashoda, Devaki, Kirtida, and Nanda Maharaj, Vrishabhanu, they're all expansions of Balaram. And in all these different expansions, they are all engaged in serving the Lord in a particular rasa. So service is the mood of the Lord. Service is the mood of the Lord, and therefore we also have this mood, attitude, our innate nature desires to serve. And sambandha is relationships. Krishna is always looking for sambandha. Always. Therefore, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is saying, when a devotee is initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, at that time, Krishna immediately takes that jiva, living entity, in the circle of his family. Dikkha-kale koren bhakta atma samarpan. At the time of Diksha, the living entity surrenders. Atma samarpan means body, mind, and soul surrenders to this spiritual master, body, mind, and soul. Shei kale koren Krishna tare atma sham. And that very moment Krishna takes this person. Atma sham means his very dear family member. Atma means like himself. So Krishna is always looking for relationship so that he can relish rasa and make us also relish rasa, because he's the embodiment of rasa, raso vaisa. And this rasa and relationship reaches its pinnacle in loving relationship and bliss, ananda. So these are the four aspects of our factors of our innate nature, which we have inherited from the Supreme Lord. So therefore, when jiva is first breathed out, emanating from the transcendental form of Lord Mahavishnu, then he's seeking all these four things as a natural impetus. He did not learn this from anyone. Jiva didn't learn this from him. He brought it along with him. And therefore, from the very moment of jiva being separated from the Supreme Lord's transcendental form and given his individuality, he wants to immediately, jiva wants to immediately experience his individuality. That is the truth. Is to immediately experience what is his individuality? What is this freedom of will the freedom to desire. Let me desire. And it is this, let me desire. He has, Jiva sees this material world, especially the topmost material planet of Lord Brahma, which is equal in opulence and illumination and beauty as the spiritual world. Equal. There's absolutely no difference except that Lord Brahma's abode is not eternal. The only difference. So therefore, the Goswamis have made it clear the reason for our fall down. However, just because we have made the initial mistake of making a wrong choice, Krishna is not wanting to punish us like a doting father is always looking to protect his sons and daughter, even those sons and daughter who mistakenly turn away from him, not recognizing that he is the well-wishing guardian. And therefore, sending Narada Muni, Lord Brahma is speaking the Vedas, the Kumaras, they sit quietly in front of Ananta Shesh, Lord Balaram, hearing about the Vedas and Srimad Bhagavatam, then go all over the world, travel in space to all the different planetary systems, so that we are able to correct our initial mistake. Hare Krishna. I thank all of you for your patient hearing and beg forgiveness for the mistakes I have committed. Hare Krishna and Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.